Hey everyone, it's the one and only magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I am back at it with another spoiler review of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3, Episode 1, Coast of Death. Now, I will say, I'm hoping that Season 3 will be an improvement over Season 2 because don't get me wrong, Season 2 had its moments, but let's be honest, like with only 6 episodes, they had character death after character death, like major character death after character death. So not season 3, but episode 3 of the last season had Sylvie. She was the big death of that episode. And then the very next episode, Isabella and Janae were the two big deaths in that episode, followed by Lo Sang. He was the big character death. And then in the finale was what was her name? J Girl. That's at least what I called her when she offed herself. She was one of the major character deaths. And I'm not sure if season 3 is going to have, if it's going to have only 6 episodes, but look, some people might say that this episode was a little boring, and I could kind of maybe see that a little bit, but I'm going to be honest, this episode, the premiere of season 3, was a lot better than the shit show of the NFL this weekend because let me tell you, I'm not going to be able to remember a single fucking game that happened this weekend other than maybe the Chargers beating the Chiefs. And the only reason I'm going to maybe slightly remember that is because it's rare that the Chargers actually beat the Chiefs. So, because let's see. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, I think, isn't he with the Steelers? Anyway, I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter. Aaron Rodgers, he ain't gonna last much longer in the NFL. I think the Steelers won, I think, but I mean, whipty damn, they beat the Jets. They beat the Jets by like 2 points or so. Whipty damn. What is going to happen to Pittsburgh? What's going to happen to Pittsburgh when they have to face actual competition with that old ass man at quarterback, huh? We'll see. Oh yeah, one game I remember. Oh yeah, the Miami Dolphins. They got their asses kicked. I love it. They got their shit kicked in today by Indianapolis. Woohoo! I love it. And Buffalo is currently getting their ass whooped by the Ravens as well. Woohoo! I love it. I love it. I love it. Even though my team got embarrassed and won a game that they lost, hey, at least the fucking Dolphins got their shit kicked in. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Anyway, this is not about the shit show NFL. This is about the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. So before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. And like always, if you like the video, leave a like and leave a comment down below. And if you aren't subscribed already, feel free to hit that subscribe button if you would like to. And if you want to share the video, that would be great too. And if you do any of those things, that would be very much appreciated. Now, for those of you that are not caught up with The Walking Dead, the spin-offs and all that stuff, this is your warning to go ahead and get out of here. If you aren't caught up and you don't want to hear anything, this is the time to go ahead and click off the video. I do thank you and appreciate you for your time. Now, if you are caught up and you have seen the episode, or if you just don't give a damn about spoilers and you want to stick around, I appreciate your support as well. So, we're going to go ahead and get into it in 3, 2, 1. The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, Season 3, Episode 1, Coast of Death, spoiler review. Here it is. There's a shipwreck and there's a can of hot dogs. Goodbye. The end. Okay. No, there is a little bit more to talk about than that. But no, seriously. let's get into it. Like I said, I hope Season 3 is an improvement over Season 2. We'll see. I still got my hopes up. I'm still going to be positive on that. Okay, so let's actually get into it. Daryl and Carol are back for season 3, where we learn how the duo winds up in Spain as they attempt to return home. So we're going to find that out. Okay, so Daryl and Carol return for a third season of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. Now that Laurent has damn, I can't even talk. Now that Laurent has safely left France, our duo can begin their journey back home, but alas, trouble finds them at every turn. How do they find themselves in Spain? And will season 3 be an improvement from season 2? I hope so. Like, I hope it's better with its pacing. I hope so. Okay. When we last left Daryl and Carol, they successfully saved Laurent, who escaped with Ash, and in Ash's plane, Janae, the main villain of season 1 and season 2, was killed, leaving many to wonder if the chemically altered Walker's arc is over as well. Maybe it is. Maybe not. It'd be kind of interesting to see if they made their way to Spain, because Carol and Daryl, they do end up in Spain. So they kind of gave that away with the promotional like trailers and stuff like that. But anyway, okay. So taking the tunnel to England, that's how season 2 ended. They were Daryl and Carol and Stefan. They were in the tunnel to go to England. So taking the tunnel to England, our duo arrives in an empty London until they find themselves about to be overrun and seek refuge inside an abandoned apartment building. By the way, Carol, she found a fucking can of hot dogs, okay? Not the Vienna sausages, but it was a normal size can with probably at least two, it might have been more than two normal hot dogs in the can. Like, I don't know if I'd be that curious to try a hot dog in a can. I mean, I guess if we was in the apocalypse and we had no other choice, but the thing is the hot dogs, are they going to be rotten and ooh? I don't know. Anyway, so that's like a thing about the whole episode about she wants to save the hot dogs in a can for a special occasion and all that, right? So okay, so now after Daryl and Carol get inside the abandoned apartment building, after residing for a few days with no food, but mostly liquor, they deduce they'll have to fight their way out, which will probably lead to their deaths. They're like, well, at least we'll go out fighting instead of starving to death at that point because they practically have no food other than them damn hot dogs in a can, which that is a thing with Carol in this episode. Okay, but hope arrives in the form of a signal and a kind British man named Julian Chamberlain. Just like many minor characters in The Walking Dead, he's harmless, but our main characters remain cautious and untrusting, understandably so. Because you don't know, sometimes they might be putting on a kind act and then they have bad intentions. Just like the cannibals from season 5, right? They put on a pretty decent, face cade to act all friendly and stuff, but then what do you know? They turned out to be cannibals. So like you never know, right? Okay. That is okay, so it seems like Julian is, you know, uh harmless, but they're obviously cautious. That is until he reveals he has a boat. Carol tries to convince Julian to go with them back to America, but he'd rather stay and have them live in America, have them live with him in London, because he says that he hasn't seen anybody in London for many years. So, understandably, like kind of from his perspective, oh, he's finally seen people. So that's kind of understandable in his situation because, like, damn, this is the first time in many years I've actually got to interact with people. But like, Carol and Daryl, they want to get the hell back home to Alexandria, maybe the Commonwealth, because I know Carol, no, not Carol, but Daryl. No, they wanted to get back to Maine. That's right. And then they were going to go from Maine back to Virginia or Ohio, right? Maybe probably back to Alexandria, I would imagine. Okay, so after some more convincing, he agrees, and the next morning the walkers disperse thanks to Big Ben because Julian decides to leave in the middle of the night. And he's like, okay, y'all at 10 o'clock in the morning, meet me. Y'all will know. Like, Daryl's asking, how will we know it'll be at 10 o'clock in the morning? He's like, trust me, you'll know. And that's when he has learned to operate and fix up Big Ben for, like, maybe if he's got to move to a certain section of the city, he can ring it to distract the ringers. To the ringers, my goodness, he can use Big Ben to distract the walkers, just like how the Telltale season 1. Remember that mission? I want to say, was it episode? It was either episode 4 or 5 of season 1. I'm trying to remember. I know it was late in season 1 where we had to jump from bell to bell in order to distract the walkers in order to get into that hospital. I'm sure y'all remember. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the exact episode. I know it's episode 4 or 5. It might be the finale, but it's been a while since I played those. But anyway, that's what that kind of reminded me of. I thought that was a little cool callback. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a callback, but that's what that reminded me of, right? So, okay, provisions ready and a boat. The trio now set sail for America. However, Julian is worried due to his failure to properly navigate boats, but he estimates that because of the wind pattern that the boat is going on, that he's like, if the wind pattern is consistent, that we would be in North America in 11 to 17 days from now. And Carol and Daryl are all happy, like saying, fuck yeah, like, they're happy, but no, 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 no. It's not going to go like that. Because Daryl Dixon still has the rest of season 3, and plus they got a season 4, which was announced. So, y'all think y'all going back to America so soon? No. So, everything's going good on the little boat that they're on until a storm emerges after Julian ends up getting wounded because they have to go in. They get caught in the storm, and the storm knocks Julian off his feet, and he ends up hitting his head on a part of the boat or something. And so Julian is wounded. So it's up to Daryl and Carol to steer the boat. Sure enough, the next day they find themselves ashore, forced to kill Julian, who is now a walker. So he ended up dying from his injuries. That kind of sucks that we won't get someone else's story, or we just won't get any banter with this Julian character. It would have been interesting to for him to stick around for a little bit in season 3, but damn, goes out in season 3 like well, it's just Daryl and Carol at this point, right? So after Daryl finds Carol, so that evening Daryl and Carol have a little fire set up, and that's when Daryl notices blood on Carol's back, and she's running a fever. But no, she wasn't bit. They're not killing Carol or Daryl off in a fucking spinoff. It ain't gonna happen. Trust me. If they were gonna kill Carol and Daryl off, they would have done that a long time ago on the main show. Yeah. Daryl, especially, I feel like they would have killed him off in Negan's lineup back in season 7. I feel like Daryl's definitely safe until, like, eventually Norman Reedus might want to stop being Daryl Dixon one day. I mean, one day it's gonna happen, but, like, I don't know. They might not necessarily kill him off. I feel like he's safe from death, unless Norman Reedus requests to be killed off. I don't know, but I think as of right now, we ain't got to worry about Daryl or Carol getting killed off. But anyway, yeah, Carol was just suffering from an infected wound, and there was a small piece of metal in the wound from where they crashed on the shore. Here it is. like other small conversations throughout the episode that Daryl and Carol attempt at small talk, Daryl reflects on his youth with Merle, including a weird flashback that isn't addressed. Hopefully, it'll get addressed because yeah, there was a weird, sort of like quick flashback of somebody looking at Daryl, and they like, I would assume it was Merle, yeah, because they was a lot younger. Like whenever that took place, some point in Daryl's life, and he's obviously still sad over Isabella's death. Carol's now tended wound will have to take a back seat because all of a sudden people on these horsebacks emerge from the woods dressed like ancient warriors, donning animal bones for masks and fur. Yeah, so you got some like, yeah, you got, I'm trying to think of a group of people that would be dressed up like that, right? Like I'm pretty sure wasn't there like a group of people in one of the Tomb Raider games that had like bone animal masks and shit like that? I mean I might be misremembering. I'm not really sure, but I know there's some kind of medium. There might be some active purge people in the purge movies that like wear shit like that. I'm pretty sure. I at least I think so. But anyway, yeah, you got these people on these horsebacks with these animal bone masks and fur and all this shit going on. And then these people raid the boat, taking the remainder of the food and supplies. Daryl and Carol thankfully elude the threat and decide to leave the beach the next morning. Just suffering from the infected wound, it is here, like other small conversations throughout the. Okay, okay, yeah, no, I already read that. I'm just going through my notes here. Okay, so when now we can move on. When Daryl leaves the next morning, successfully hunting a rabbit, he witnesses. Okay, so yeah, they leave the beach, and Daryl and Carol they end up finding like this small little shed, and then they end up spending the night in this small little shed. So the next morning, after they find the shed, Daryl is out hunting, and after he hunts a rabbit, and he's on his way back, and Daryl witnesses a military vehicle drive by not a drive by, but he witnesses a military vehicle driving by full of young and able-bodied men worried for Carol. He returns to the shack to find her missing. That's right, because Daryl is already gone hunting for the rabbit, and Carol gets up and yeah, she decides to walk out of the shed. So that's how the episode ends. Daryl finds that Carol is missing. So was she kidnapped? Could be. Who knows? Maybe did those people in the military vehicle find her? Who fucking knows? Maybe she just got lucky and just walked out at the right time and she's okay. Did she just go for a quick walk to explore? I mean, that could be possible. Either she got kidnapped by those people in that military vehicle, or she caught a lucky break and just decided to go explore. So, we'll see. We'll see what becomes of that. I'm sure Carol's still alive, but whether she got kidnapped or she just decided to go out exploring, I'm sure we'll probably find out in the next episode. So, we'll see. In my opinion, Daryl Dixon season 2 was a disappointment despite having its bright spots. And I hope that season 3 will be able to be better than season 2. If it can be on par of season 1, I'll take that as a win. I'm not expecting season 3 to be better than season 1 of Daryl Dixon, but come on, at least be better than season 2. And if you're on par of at least season 1, you know what? That'll be a big win. But yeah, we'll see. It's interesting that they were in London for a little bit and then they ended up in Spain. Personally, I am excited to see more of the Spain environment. Oh, speaking of that, I forgot one thing I forgot to talk about. After the credits, not the end credits, but when the intro played, I like how they changed the intro's theme song. I loved that because it's got the new intro theme has a Spanish flair to it. So that was a if for some reason you didn't know they were going to go to Spain, I don't know why in the world I was about to say Spanish. If for some reason you didn't know they were going to go to Spain for season 3, that was a pretty big indicator that they are going to go to Spain because of the theme being changed, and it has a little bit of a Spanish flair to it, but it's still kind of the same, which I thought that was really cool. And I am excited to see a little bit more of the Spain region now. Will the Spain will they be in Spain for season 4? It's possible. I'm gonna say yes because if it does if it does have season not season but if it has 6 episodes rather, I feel like they're gonna need to spend a little bit more time in Spain depending on where the story is going. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. Did I think this was a terrible episode? No. Did I think it was like a masterpiece of an episode? No. It was an okay episode. It was an alright episode. They had to have Daryl and Carol get to Spain somehow. And like that makes sense for them to be out in the sea, only for them to be caught in a storm and then they end up crashing, landing ashore to Spain, even though that's not where they were going to go originally. So, now, is this episode better than Say Yes? Oh, it's 100 times better than Say Yes. No, Say Yes is one of the absolute worst episodes in Walking Dead history. Like, my God, let me tell you. It's definitely one of the worst, in the top 5 worst episodes of Walking Dead of all time. And then what's that episode in season 10? I can't remember what it was called, but it's that one where Carol is chasing around a rat in the fucking kitchen. That one was pretty bad too. Yeah, that one was pretty bad too, just because it didn't add anything to after season 10 going into season 11. It was a pointless episode because it was a pandemic episode. That's why. And yeah, we'll see. I think probably the rest of the season should probably be a little bit more exciting. Although I think Dead City season 2 did have a better premiere than this for sure. Just a little bit more happened. They've already been, the characters are already established in Manhattan at that point. As with Daryl and Carol, they're going to a brand new place once again. So it's going to take time to get whichever new characters introduced from Spain to, to Daryl and Carol. So we'll see. So, yeah, I thought this was a fine episode. And, yeah, I'm sitting here watching and, well, holy shit. Buffalo just came back and beat the Ravens by 1 point. I hate the fucking Bills. Not as much as I hate Miami. But they're equally close. They're equally close to the Dolphins as far as my hatred. Buffalo, they suck. They suck. They're never going to win anything. They have 0 Super Bowls, and they've lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. They're not going to get a Super Bowl. I don't care what nobody says. Buffalo can... No, they are the equivalent of the Green Bay Packers of the AFC. Yeah, they're good during the regular season, but when it comes to playoff time and when it matters, Buffalo can't do shit, and they always fail to deliver, as expected. But anyway, enough about the NFL and all that for now. I'm going to go ahead and go, and this is a great time to go ahead and end the video. So, if you have seen the episode, what are your thoughts on it? And, did you think it was as bad as people were saying? Because I've heard some people say, oh, hot dogs plus, boring. Like, the hot dogs part, yeah, I kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of, I hope they kind of drop that part, but I doubt it. I hope that somebody done stole that fucking can of hot dogs from Carol, that way she can let it go. Because, like, that's kind of a weird part of the episode, but, other than that, I didn't mind the episode. And, yeah, just let me know what you guys thought about this episode if you have seen the episode. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support and for stopping by. And if you're new, welcome on in for the very first time. I'm glad to have your support and thank you for your time. I am Buck Beak and I'm gonna go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.